Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I think there may be some more join us in just a moment. But today, March the 2nd, 2021, and the first item of business today is a proclamation. And like I said, we do have a couple of folks that have joined us for the proclamation purpose. And I'm going to recognize Commissioner Gail Woody, if she would, to present the proclamation today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very pleased to present this proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2021. Whereas children are vital to Jackson County's future prosperity and quality of life, and whereas all children deserve to have safe, stable, nurturing, and healthy homes and communities that foster well-being, and whereas child abuse and neglect is a public responsibility affecting both the current and future quality of life in Jackson County, and whereas to prevent child abuse, parents need support and resources to help cope with stress and nurture their children to grow to their full potential. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed through partnerships created among citizens, human service agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, child advocacy centers, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas Jackson County is committed to preventing child abuse and calls upon citizens from all walks of life to increase their participation in efforts to support families and thereby prevent child abuse and strengthen communities. Now, therefore, the Jackson County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Jackson County and commends its observance to all citizens. Date, March 2nd, 2021.
Okay, we've heard the proclamation. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we, commissioners, approve this proclamation.
Okay, we have a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any question or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And I'll take this opportunity to let Renee or Crystal, if they want to unmute and have any comments, they want to offer any comments. I see some.
Just real quickly, I would like to say on behalf of the Awake Board of Directors, on behalf of our MDT members, and on behalf of the Awake staff, but primarily on behalf of the children of Jackson County, how much we appreciate all the support that Jackson County commissioners have given to Awake in the past. And we are deeply appreciative of your support, financial, physical, and emotional support. So thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you.
Well, we thank y'all for all the work that y'all do. Sir.
Just if you wanted to talk to them about the pinwheel.
Commissioner Woody, did you have a question?
Well, I did. I wondered if you all were planning to put pinwheels up on the courthouse lawn, in front of the old Jackson County Courthouse lawn again.
We are, and in fact, we're partnering with a fraternity at Western, and they are being incredibly supportive to help us out with that. They are the Sigma Phi Epsilon group, and we are planning on doing that in April. So we're super excited to have their support as well.
You should see about 800 to 1,000 pinwheels, each planted with care.
Well, that's great. I think it's such a positive reminder of how we need to support our community's efforts to prevent child abuse. Thank you so much.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, do you, Crystal, do you have the dates, or Renee, do you have the dates of when you're putting the pinwheels up?
Yes, we're actually going to start at the very end of March. Probably on March 30th is when we're going to start, and you'll start seeing those around the old courthouse and throughout the community as well.
And we're essentially going to leave them up as long as the grass does not grow. And when the grass starts growing too much, we'll take them down.
Any other questions or comments?
I would like to thank Director Jennifer Abshire of our Department of Social Services and all the work that she and her staff do in responding to the child abuse that happens in Jackson County and their efforts to support the children and families.
Commissioner Woody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. This is Jennifer Abshire. I'm sorry I can't zoom in my picture, but thank you guys very much for your support.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Mhm.
Anything else? Okay, well, we'll move on to the next item, which is the approval of our agenda. Don't have any suggested changes for tonight. Are there any changes from any of the board members? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next is the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from our work session on February the 9th and the regular meeting minutes from February the 16th. After having had a chance to review those, it's distributed by the clerk. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 9th and February 16th, Mr. Chair.
Okay, motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next is the administrative reports. I don't have anything to report tonight. See, we'll start with Commissioner Deets tonight.
Good information, but I don't, it's not as complete as I like it to be.
Okay.
Our soil and water board, each year, the district, which is 17 western counties, Ms. Woody, we have a art contest. And we always have some kind of theme of that contest, and it's for 5th and 6th graders. And we had it this year, and we're not calling short here the names of these kids. We got 3 categories. And there was a young lady from up at the charter school in Cashers. She was a district champion, so to speak. She won it. And one from Cullen Way and one from Fairview. And we had these 3 categories, and we were the Jackson County top. We had the top person in each of the 3
I
categories.
love that.
Oh, yeah, great.
So we were real proud of that, and I had those names, but that, I'm sure that'll be in the paper this coming week or something. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, very good.
17 counties,
Yeah.
we won all 3 categories, first place.
Yeah, very good, very good. Commissioner Woody?
I would like to thank Western Carolina University and their outreach with their service project. They require all students to be involved in some kind of service project. And one of the things that they did recently was helped make up bags for homeless people and brought them to UCM because homeless people come by there to get food and things. And there's socks in there and some real essential items that people need, and just some snacks, and then they wrote individual cards of encouragement. And it's just so gratifying to see young people engaging with our community and serving in different ways.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Striblin?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Commissioner Jones?
Just to comment on the vaccine at the Cashers Rec Center on Sunday, a vaccination. It was a total success. And I was quite honestly overwhelmed by the collaboration of the National Guard, the Sheriff's Office, the Health Department, EMT, Glenville Cashers Rescue Squad members, and the plethora of yellow shirted volunteers that it was just overwhelming to see that collaboration. As a matter of fact, it's so good. I'm coming down Thursday to the Council on Aging just to observe that for a while and get my vaccination.
Okay, very good. Mr. Adams, County Manager's report.
Yes, sir. I don't have a formal report. I do want to draw your attention to our upcoming meetings. You do see we have a work session scheduled for March 9th at 1 p.m. and then a special budget work session March 11th at 1 p.m. So a couple of things, you can see that there is a to be determined on the special budget work session. I have followed through and made a site visit with the Colway Volunteer Fire Department new facility. They do have a meeting room, I believe will work for that meeting. And I would recommend that we hold it there. It is a little small, but I do believe if we space out, offer Zoom to the, YouTube to the public and Zoom to presenters that we would be able to fit in there. So I just wanted to make sure that the board's comfortable with holding that meeting there before we make the announcement. And then if so, at this point, I don't have a lot of items, just minor items right now for the work session. So the next thing would be, wanted to see what your thoughts were if we canceled Tuesday's work session. And I'd like to wait towards the end of the week. And I believe that we could do that ourselves between you and myself, Mr. Chairman. But if I don't have multiple items or items that require a lot of time, then I would recommend that we just not have that meeting, and then anything that's needed to be discussed, you don't vote at work sessions. Anything that may pop up between now and then, we can advertise the budget work session to also be a regular work session, and we could deal with it then.
That's fine.
So right now I will wait a couple of days and talk to you, Mr. Chairman, and if I don't have any additional items, then I'll go ahead and have Angie reach out to you to let you know whether or not Tuesday is canceled. But Thursday is a go, and that's going to be 1 p.m. at the Colway Volunteer Fire Department new facility. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Adams? Okay, all right, let's move on then. Next is informal comments by the public, and I don't think we have anyone signed up. So we'll move into our new business, and the first item is an offer to purchase with a contract from Hawkinson. This also comes with a companion resolution, R21-07. We'll recognize Ms. Baker to walk us through the offer.
Yes, thank you. This is, and I believe this is the first offer for purchase. We've had maybe the second since Commissioner Sherman was with us. I know it's been a while for Commissioner Jones as well, so I'll spend a few minutes talking about this. We have lots, usually it's vacant lots that we as a county foreclose on for tax purposes when they reach a certain amount. And we become the owner of those lots. Fortunately, over the last couple of years, it includes 19, 20 into 21, most of these foreclosures, people are bidding on them at the sale, and they're actually selling at the sale, which means we as a county don't end up owning a lot, which is good. But we do end up with a few. And as I tell people when they ask about the lots we have for sale, usually we end up with the ones people don't want, the most undesirable lots. So it's good when we get offers on them and try and sell them. I was a little concerned when we foreclosed on this lot last year. This is a lot in Trillium. And before we even completed the foreclosure, I'm gonna skip on down here for a minute to the bottom. We got invoiced for their association dues in the amount of almost $4,000. And so I called them and I said, we don't own the lot yet. So we didn't have to pay these, and we may not have to pay future. It's a little gray area. I won't bore you with all the detail now about whether or not we have to pay those association dues as they come up. Technically, we are responsible for them. They're just not a lien against the county, but there are other ways they can try and collect them. So it's good if we don't end up in a situation where we have to pay these. So I put this on here for that reason. So we listed, when I called them, they connected me with their internal realtor. There's a realtor there that works for Trillium, and she listed this lot for us. We wanted to go ahead and try and get it sold.
and we did get this offer in at $15,000. Our policy is, or the policy that this board adopted in 2017 is that during the first year we own a lot, that I will only bring it to you to consider if it's at least the amount of our cost in this lot. And so I'm gonna scroll down again to this sheet here, which is the first page of the lot we own, and I've highlighted this lot. I can't see the number from here, but I think it's 11,000 and something.
Yeah, 11,870.
So that was the amount we had to pay to foreclose on this lot. That included the taxes and the attorney fees. So any lot or any off-road agreement would be at least that amount. This one is 15,000, so it also covers the commission on this, and we don't have any closing fees. So that's it. So we'll actually make a little bit on this lot at this offer. I do, you'll see this addendum here. The realtor prepared the contract. Usually I can make comments to the contract. In this one, I just did this addendum. So it covers all the things that we're particular about when we sell a lot as a county, which is we'll only do a special warranty deed or a non-warranty deed. And I always have it covered in here that we won't pay any back dues, property owners association fees, taxes, anything like that. I cover that always in this. So it's here in this addendum. So, Mr. Hopkinson has also signed this addendum. Now, if you accept this offer, it's up to you whether you want to accept this offer or not. It does go to an upset bid process by law, and I think that's in here as well, that they understand it goes to an upset bid process. And so we advertise it in the newspaper. It will actually come out next Thursday, given the timing, and then anybody has an opportunity for 10 days to upset this offer, and there are specific rules they have to follow to do that. And if they do that, then the upset bid period starts over again until we have 10 days where nobody bids, and then we have a final closing amount. So the other thing I've included in here, so the first page of the contract, the addendum, our sheet showing what our costs are, so you know that we're over that amount. And then this is an area. And this area, this is our lot here highlighted in blue that county owns that we have an offer on. This is not a great picture, but I do my best to show you. I was doing some research and the realtor was helping me as well. This lot beside us sold in 2012 for $20,000. This lot to this side of us sold in 2016 for $10,000. This lot hasn't sold recently. This lot sold in 2018 for $1,000. And then these two on the corner, which are connected, they both sold together 2 months ago for $10,000. So we're in the area of what's selling around us. And I'll be glad to, and as Commissioner Dees always likes us to do, we will, your clerk and I work together on this, and we send a letter notifying all the surrounding property owners that this, that it goes to upset bid, so that they have an opportunity to bid. I'll be surprised if we get an offer, but we have had it happen before, so we send it to the neighboring property owners. But anyone else wants to see it in paper, anyone can bid. And I'm glad to answer any questions.
Doesn't seem like only a couple of those are built on from the picture. Maybe it's hard to see.
None of these are built on an area. There's one.
Does that one look like it's a house or something?
This one right here, I zoomed in on that earlier today. It's a concrete pad. So somebody may have started it at one point. The realtor told me, I asked her, why they're so low, and she said they just have so much inventory. She said she got 5 other lots exactly like ours, except they have better views.
Okay.
And so she said, you can hold on to it for a while and things may change, but they're just now starting to sell lots.
Is that a golf course it's on?
Yeah, it's right on the fairway, it looks like.
That's interesting. Well, good. Good for them.
So the action that we would take, just to continue that thought, education.
If you want to approve it, here's the resolution, so you can adopt this resolution to approve the sale and send it to upset bid.
So that's the action that we would take tonight, would be to adopt the resolution. And that starts the upset bid process. And once that is complete, then you'll come back to us and report that someone did or didn't upset the bid, and then we would approve the contract.
Actually, I only come back if it is upset, so you think, you're right, you would approve that again, but if it goes through and no one upsets it, then this resolution authorizes your chairman to sign the closing document.
Ms. Baker?
Yes.
Remind me, on the upset bid, on the minimum percentage you have to upset with.
Yes. I'm going off, I think it's 5%.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay a certain deposit along with that. 5% on top of that.
Other questions? Okay, well, someone like to make a motion then concerning this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a motion to approve the resolution
Second.
and a second. Any questions or discussion? Okay, if not, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Deeds,
Yes.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Stribling,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Knappman.
Yes, motion carries. And then the next item under new business is the Register of Deeds refund. Ms. Baker also walk us through this one.
Okay, and again, we've had a couple of these over the last several years, but probably not with Commissioner Jones or Commissioner Scribbling. So this is kind of the opposite side of the real estate world. This is where there was a closing down in the Register of Deeds, and I'm gonna go all the way down to the law. And this is an excerpt from the Register of Deeds handbook, and kind of because it explains the law, I think, in easy terms to follow. So a deed was recorded in Wade Hampton, actually, and the wrong amount of revenue stamps was put on top of the deed and paid into the Register of Deeds. So they paid $17.10 instead of $11.10. So they paid $600 too much. So pursuant to this statute, what they have to do is file a corrected deed, which they did, and I'll go back to that in just a minute, and then make written requests to you, the commissioners, for a refund, and then it has to be heard, and this is that heard hearing, it's on your agenda to be heard, and at that point, you can then authorize the refund, and I collect the documents that are needed, I get them to Ms. Fox, and she issues the refund at that time. And I'll go, back up here to the top, the deed, it showed the 1710, and then you see the, corrective deed,
I think it's first.
it may be the corrective deed, maybe first. Yes, this is the affidavit of correction showing that it should have been 1110 instead of 1710, and that, and then the email, which is a written notice requesting to you that the $600 be refunded, and this is the process that it goes.
Does everybody understand what's happened and what needs to happen from our end to correct this error?
Was it just a human error?
This was just a human error. It's probably either just somebody typed it wrong on the deed, or they carried the deed over from another deed and just had the wrong amount on it. It's just interesting, I'll repeat this, it was now a couple of years ago, we had one where this was an out-of-state company, they actually paid the entire amount of the purchase into the Register of Deeds.
Yeah, I remember
And so
that.
it was, what, $100,000?
Yeah.
They overpaid, and so they were a little anxious to get that one taken care of. This is your more common mistake that just happens from time to time. Probably most of them aren't caught, this one just happens to be caught.
Is there a statute of limitations on this? I'm just curious.
There is.
You
They
found
have-
like 10 years down the road?
No, that will not work. I'm
Okay.
gonna go back down to this law. You might go read it. I can't read it from there. I think it's 6 months that they have to request the refund. It's in here. They have,
Within 90 days, let's see.
well, we have 90 days to hear it.
Yeah, it's 6 months,
Okay.
within 6 months of
Okay.
payment.
So it has to be done within
Okay.
6 months of paying it or
Yes.
too bad.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Well, would someone like to make a motion to approve this request?
I move that we approve this request.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any other questions or discussion about the motion? Not, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Strickland,
Yes.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Deep,
Yes.
Chairman Knight.
Yes, motion carries. Next is our appointments. Item 3 is the Agricultural Advisory Board. Any,
I'm having a little problem getting that filled.
okay. We
I
just,
did speak with Brad, and he said he will do part-time if it's allowed, until we can find somebody to fill that position.
You'll be to, excuse me. Would you like me to help you with that?
Sure.
And I'm involved with all that. With the ag folks, whatever.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, I'll help you sit with.
that'd be great.
yeah,
I
okay.
had
Yeah, that's
to-
fine.
Appreciate that.
I had to, because I don't know farmers really.
Y'all work on that. We'll just keep carrying it over and eventually we'll get somebody.
The person has to come for.
Well, it's good that they come from District 3.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
And I'm the same way. I called this morning because I hadn't heard back from my candidate and I've not gotten a call today, but I have a good feeling. He had to check with his employer, which is the U.S. Department of Agriculture, to make sure there's no conflict. I just hadn't heard back.
Okay. All right, we'll wait on that one. Council on Aging, item 4. Commissioner Strickland, I think you want to work through this one?
What I was gonna mention this, but it was all on our desk when we got in here. That Eddie Wolf, the director, has requested consideration of the appointment of Laura Chapman to serve a 3-year term on the board of Council on Aging. And her paperwork is in order, and she's done her background check and all that, so she's got ready to get going.
So would you like to put that in the form of a motion then?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion to appoint Ms. Chapman, Laura Chapman. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? Okay, there's no other further discussions. Madam Clerk, I'll have you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Deep, Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Strickland,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Knight.
Yes, motion carries. Next is the Sediment Control Appeals. You should have a note with your packet. That Tony Elders, our Code Enforcement Director, is requesting that both Alex Stillwell and Barry Stevens both be reappointed. They are eligible to serve additional terms. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move to wish Tommy Elder that these two fellows be reappointed, that we do so.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Strickland,
Yes.
Commissioner Woody,
Yes.
Commissioner Deep,
Yes.
Chairman Knight.
Yes, motion carries. And then item 6 was the Transit Advisory Board. If we had any additional,
Kevin Tafoya from Cherokee has agreed to serve, and he has fulfilled he filled out the application and he had a background check and it was positive, very good. So I would like to offer his name.
okay? So you're putting that forth as a motion for one of the positions.
Yes, I'd like to move that one of those positions is filled by Kevin Tafoya.
Okay. Do we have any other additional names?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Deep?
We maybe have done all we need to do. We have Lieutenant Bruce Moore. Police department. Spoken to him. And he's willing to do this.
Okay.
And, which I'll wind up other than,
I haven't received an application from him yet.
okay, so we'll have to do that and take care of it.
At the next time, yeah. We'll go ahead and vote on Commissioner Woody's
He's ready to do
motion.
that, so
Okay,
we've got
good,
to-
good.
And he'll pass the background check.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah. All right, so the motion has been made and seconded. Any other questions? If not, Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Deeds?
Yes.
Commissioner Woody?
Yes.
Commissioner Sibley?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Chairman McNamee?
Yes, motion carries.
Now, we're gonna do that at Laura's appointment here too, on Strand.
The next, the one that you mentioned?
At Laura's on Strand. Chip Hall, we're gonna put him.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna be the driver trainer. Do we have anybody from the press ever join, Heather? Okay, well, if they have any questions, they can email us, contact us. I am sad to inform you, but we do have need for closed session.
Aw,
Personnel and criminal
I
investigation.
shouldn't say that.
Two items, personnel and criminal investigation. So do we have a motion to go into closed session concerning these two?
I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll give everybody a chance to depart. Not, as you leave the room running.
I figured when we got these draft minutes, that there was. They don't usually pass this. That wasn't, that was a